Hello people! Today we're doing a set I'm calling Cat Eye Zen Garden. And here we go. I have pre-prepped some medium length oval tips. And we get ready to get started here. These are the cat eye polishes I was waiting for. It was a set of Beetles and there's 6 of them. I'm gonna do one of each color, except I did not pull out the silver one because I wanted to play with the color ones. So it also came with a little magnet, which frankly didn't work very well for me. I have a stronger one that I already had from when I previously have played around with cat eye. So I switched it to that one. There's not a whole lot of stuff we really need to be doing magnet-wise with these. Just a little tiny bit. I am going to be in the future here coming up playing around with these cat eyes and trying to do some of the designs that I've seen done. Not holding my breath that they're going to come out real great because I have not had the best luck with the cat eye stuff. I've only used it very sparingly. Okay, first coat going in. I just played around a little bit with the magnet with that, but you don't really need to on the first coat because you're not going to see it. But I just wanted to kind of get the feel of it. Okay, going in with the second coat. This is where we're going to need to do what we're going to do with it, which for this set is not a whole heck of a lot. All I'm basically going to do is go around the edge and try to get it to shove up towards the middle more. So the kind of sparkly cat eye-ness is in the middle, not so much down at the edge. That way you should see it better when we're through. Now I gotta say, I'm kind of disappointed in how the set came out. The technique is there. It's just I have some issues that cause things to not see how it's all in the center now. That's what we want. I have some issues with my eyes, and that came into play with this set. The last few times I've gotten glasses, they've told me I need cataract surgery, and frankly I just can't afford it, so I just have to muddle through and hope for the best here. So that ended up being a factor because when you're doing the lines, they have to be very, very close together, just barely not touching. And I was having a really tough time seeing where I was going with things. Now, the tutorial that I watched to do these was done by Miss Jo's Nail Company. If you guys don't follow her, you really should. She's an awesome nail artist. Now, she hasn't been posting as much stuff as she was before because I think she's having some health issues. But I'm going to try to get the link for her video tutorial and put it in the description of this one. So I recommend you guys watch hers also. Now, she does play around with some swatching at the beginning of it. That really has nothing to do with the set she's going to do that's like this cat eye set. So you might want to skip over that. Or you can watch them, I don't know. Some people like to watch the swatches. Frankly, I don't care for it that much. But hey, that one had a little thing at the end of there that I didn't get filed off, so I had to fix that real quick. But anyway, so I'm a little bit disappointed in how this set came out. But as I said, I think most of the problem was me. It wasn't the technique. And one more. Now this one is supposed to be the red, I think. The pink and the purple look very similar to me. But this one, it looks kind of pinkish now, but I think it's supposed to be the red one. And then there was a silver, like I said, that I did not use yet, as I wanted to use the colors. But there we go. Now we're going to cure those. They've been all cat-eyed-ified. And moving on. Now the next step is we have to matte top these. I know it goes against everything to take something that's shiny and sparkly like that and then matte it, but trust me, you want to do this step. You don't want to keep it glossy or you're really going to not be able to see what you're doing. So definitely matte it. And we're going to cure those, then we're ready for the rest of it. Okay, here we go. Now, starting off with my detailer brush, which I nearly ruined, and here's the wave liner gel that I bought specifically for this set, and you're going to see why it's not going to work for me. It's very, very thick, and it was super hard to pull a nice smooth line with it because it wanted to be bloppy and it just was a pain in the rear, frankly. Now if I weren't doing such thin lines, it would be good for using to build stuff with and, you know, do some 3D work, but for this project it just wasn't working very well. Now I've left this at regular speed so you can see the issues. I'm trying to smooth it out here so it's not so bloppy while I'm trying to keep my lines thin, and it just was not looking nice. I'm going to show you this purple nail and the green nail that I used the wave liner gel for these two nails, and then I switched out to something else which we'll get to, but because I was just having so much issues. Now these two nails alone took me 45 minutes to do, and I was just like, okay, there's got to be a better way. Now Miss Jo used she used gem glue when she did it. Now the idea is to use something that's going to dry without a tacky layer and it's going to be shiny. So after I struggled through these two nails, and I'm not going to show you all of these, at some point I'm going to cut this off, but after I struggled through them, that took me a whole afternoon because to get to this point, I ended up the next day coming back in, switching over to gem glue myself, and then finishing the rest of them, and it went way smoother. So I recommend you use that. Now she also said you could use builder gel. The problem with that is it's not going to be, it's going to have a tacky layer at the end, so you're going to have to clean it off, which I guess isn't the worst thing. Now see how my lines are? That is not close enough together. You should be able to lay an entirely another line in between those lines because they have to be almost touching but just not quite, and these are not quite close enough, and they're all squiggly and blobby. Now also, if you'll notice my brush, it has taken me so long to do this that frankly this gel cured onto my brush from my desk lamp because it's LED. So I ended up having to soak this brush. This was my best detailer brush, which I stupidly used for this. I ended up having to soak it in acetone, which I did get it clean. I'm just hoping it didn't completely ruin it. So you can see how painstakingly slow it was. So anyways, I ended up switching over to my old crappy detailer brush for the rest of these. And also I figured out you have to clean your brush off about every couple of minutes, because if you have a desk lamp that's LED like I do, it will cure in your brush, this stuff and the gem glue both. So just clean it every couple minutes and you'll be okay, because after I started doing that I had no more issues with my brush. I did do a lot of wiping off with this trying to get my lines to be smoother looking, and it just was not working. I did, though, painstakingly finish them, like I said, just this one and the green one. At some point, I'm going to cut this off and you won't see the rest of them, but if you look at the finished picture at the end of these, you will see, you can tell the two that were done with the wave liner gel and the rest that weren't. They do look different. Also, you have to cure. Every time you get a line down, you got to cure. Now, I started off doing full curing in between. That's why I kept switching from one nail to the next. As I went along, I started just flashing them. Now, after you get your first line down, then you can work 2 lines at a time, because then you can do one on either side, because you know they're not going to touch. But if you don't cure in between and you're getting them really close together, you guys know how gel likes to get next to each other. If it touches, it's going to go, it's going to like suck together, and then it's going to be one big giant blobby thing. You won't have your definition lines. So definitely you've got to do that step. That is partly what takes so long, is you've got to do all this curing in between each little thing. Now, the more little sections you get going on there, the more lines you can paint at a time before you got to put it into flash. See, like once I had that first line done, now I can do a line on either side of the first one, and then I've got two that need cured at the same time. But still, it's very, very blobby, and just was not good. That's all I can say about it. Also, around the edges of the two with the wave liner gel, I had a bunch of like pokey, hard cured bits sticking out that I ended up having to take my edge file and smooth out the edges again, because they were, like I said, they were sharp and pokey, and for sure somebody could have got cut with that, or would have got caught on everything. But I think pretty soon here I'm about to cut this one off. I'm pretty sure I didn't show you too much of this. Now, in the process of these, I did start with a couple of lines on the third nail, which I think is the pink one. So when we switch over to the gem glue, you'll see some on the pink one, and then you're going to get a side-by-side comparison of the crappy looking lines next to the gem glue lines that are going to be much smoother and easier to pull. I'm just going to let this go. There's not really much else to say. While it is time consuming, by the time you get done with all the lines on all of them, basically then you're done. There's no top coating after this. There's no nothing. It's just, it is what it is. Now see how we've got this kind of swirly line group in the middle? I might do that on other nails at some point, just like that, not cover the entire nail, or just do some partial ones if I can get them closer together so they don't look so bad. I might try that. I mean, there's a lot of different things you could do with this to make some cool designs, and it did give me a lot of ideas. So you will see me kind of playing around with this in the future. I just don't see, unless my eyes have a miraculous recovery, I just don't see me doing a redo of this set, because I won't be able to get my stuff as close together as it needs to be for this to work. Now, if you watch Miss Jo's tutorial, okay, now we're switching over to the gem glue, but if you watch her tutorial, she did a bunch of different types of designs on her nails. I stuck with basically kind of wavy or circly kind of stuff, because I wanted kind of the Zen garden look, where you take the rake and you make all these really cool swirly designs in the sand. That's what I was going for. She was going for other different stuff. Okay, now working with the gem glue. Now those lines that are on there are the wave liner gel. See how bloppy and yucky they look? Now watch how much smoother this is going to be with the gem glue. It's not going to be blobby. It's going to go on much smoother and easier. Now my lines are still not close enough together. They're still a little too far apart, but still, they're smoother. They're much smoother looking. So it went much quicker getting them on there because I didn't have to try to smooth out the blobs and everything. The only problem I had, okay, this is still my crappy old detailer brush, but one problem that I had was I'm just dipping it into the glue pot right now. So I wasn't able to get my brush loaded up the way I want to make my lines like in one nice smooth swipe. That one I wasn't happy with, so we're going to take that one off. But what I started doing was taking a little bit of the glue out of the pot and putting it on my palette so that I could load my brush up better and easier. And I knew going in, like I said earlier, that it was going to cure on my palette because I've already had that issue with the gem glue. If it takes me too long to get my crystals on, sometimes it cures on the nail. And it's a real pain because then you got to clean it off and start over with that. But anyway, so once again, I'm cleaning my brush about every 2 minutes. And also, I'm only doing a little bit of glue on my palette at a time because I knew it was gonna keep curing because this takes a while to do. So I think I could get enough to do like 1, maybe 2 nails, and then I would have to reload the palette with glue again because it would be all cured up. It probably didn't help that my palette with the glue on it was kind of sitting closer to where the curing lamp was than it probably should have been. And I see I got a hair on there now. But just as you see a side by side, the lines that I just did on there and the 2 lines that were in the middle of those that I already had done, you can just see the difference. It just is such a big difference, and it was so much easier to work with the glue. Now, if you have a builder gel that's on the thinner side, it might be easy to do that with that. You're just really going to have to make sure you do your curing quickly after you get it on there, because I know how that stuff likes to spread out, and that's what you don't want for this. Okay, and now I'm just going to sit here and go back and forth between this blue one that I'm starting and that pink one that I already just started before that. So now I'm going to just go back and forth between the 2, and at some point here I'm going to speed this whole thing up to 4 times while you watch me just go back and forth and add lines and cure and continue on. On top of which, beside my eye issue, my hands are not always the steadiest, so trying to get these lines on here nice and smooth and straight, or not straight, but you know what I mean. That was a little bit of a challenge for me. If your hands sometimes get a little shaky, this may not be the set for you to try, or you have to wait till you're having a good day. Like some days my hands I just cannot do it. I mean, I can do regular other stuff, but I can't do any super fine, detailed, that's got to be precise kind of stuff. And other days it's perfectly fine, so it kind of depends. I'm also getting arthritis luckily in my offhand, not my dominant hand, so that's becoming a little bit of an issue for me when I need to hold things, because my index finger, I can't put really any pressure on it. So occasionally you might see me holding something with my thumb and my middle finger, thinking, why is she doing that? That's weird. Well, that's why, because my index finger hurts. And once again, I will say, it sucks to get old. Enjoy your life while you got it, because when things start falling apart, it's not any fun. Okay, and now you can obviously see I've now sped up, but notice how smoothly the lines are going on and compared to what they were. They're not as close together as they need to be, but I got them on there and they look better than what I started off as. Also, as the more I was doing these and the more I was going along, the better it started going. And in case you're wondering, I did not glove up for this one because frankly, I figured I could manage it without getting glue all over myself, and for the most part I did. So if I did get anything on me, I did not have a reaction to whatever was in the glue. Well, that's something. Yeah, see how my lines are kind of, they're not nice and uniform. They're kind of, I don't know. The way it looks to me when you get them on there, it kind of looks like they're carved in because you got the dull and the shiny. And the shiny part's kind of making it look like it's carved into stone. Anyway, that's not the look we're trying to go for. We're trying to go for it to look like kind of like a crystal, like a baccarat crystal, is what I believe. So, we shall carry on. That's why it's important for them to get nice and close together and be nice and smooth so everything looks uniform at the end. But I did my best. I'm hoping if I use this as an accent on other nails here in the future, this technique, I can get a little better at it, or at least they won't look as bad if there's not so many lines together. If there's only a couple, it won't look as bad, I hope. Now when we get back to that pink one, since we've come together with the lines, we've got to kind of adjust our pattern. Because they've met up on that one side, so we're going to keep going over to there, but we don't want the end of this to touch. We just want to trail off just before it touches those lines that were already there, and same with this one. This one we want to trail off before it touches the other one I just did, because as we know, it will blob together. On a side unrelated note, you guys are going to probably think I'm weird, but when I'm cleaning out my litter boxes here for the cats, if I'm really bored and I have the time, sometimes I sit there with the edge of the shovel and I make little designs in the sand so it looks nice and pretty for them when they go back in. Of course, they don't care, but I like to do it sometimes just for the heck of it. Makes the job of cleaning the litter boxes a wee bit more interesting. Okay, that one was done, and then we just have to fill in the rest of this pink one, and that's all we're going to have. I'm not going to show you the rest of them because it's just more of the same, painting the lines on. Oopsie. And there's that, and there we are, all done. Okay, they're not as shiny and sparkly. They do look nice if you see them in the right light, but I couldn't get them to get capture on camera very well. If you like them, please give me a like. I worked hard on these. And if you want more, new video every Saturday. See you next time. Bye-bye.